You're watching Let's Chat.
If you have had any, and I mean any, dealings with Social Security whatsoever, you know that can be kind of a rough path to take, especially if you're trying to file a claim for Social Security disability. Joining us to talk more about that and to smooth out those rough edges, it's Ryan Womack with our attorney friends Warren and Griffin. Ryan, first of all, good morning. Good to see you. Bam. Right off the bat, since the COVID pandemic broke out last year, have you guys seen an uptick in folks trying to file a Social Security disability claim?
We have. With the pandemic going on, we've got a lot of people at home, a lot of people trying to choose their options in terms of what's going on with work. A lot of people have been out of work. So we have seen an uptick probably by about 20 to 25%.
Wow. I know this sounds like an elementary question, but if you ask a lot of people exactly what Social Security is, it's one of those things that everybody knows, but it's kind of hard to properly quantify. What is Social Security?
Well, you're paying in to Social Security as you're working. Part of the thing with Social Security disability is you are setting aside part of your wages to go into the system, and when you become disabled or you have an impairment, then you hope to have that money set aside for you in your time of need.
And actually filing a disability claim, as I understand, is not a one-part thing. It's not a two-part thing. Frequently, it's a three-part situation or more. What are those parts?
It can be, and yes, it can be sometimes a lengthy process. Now, you can get approved at any stage. However, the first part is the initial process, the initial application. You file an initial application. And the hope would be that you get approved on the initial.
Sure.
If you don't and you're denied, you can ask for reconsideration. Reconsideration, your application goes back to the same office that adjudicated the first initial application, but it's looked at by somebody else in the office. If you're denied at the reconsideration stage, then the last part would be a hearing, and that's when you go with your attorney, someone like me, where we go before an administrative law judge to make the definitive ruling on your claim.
And this is not, as you mentioned a moment ago, a quick or speedy process. Frequently, it is not.
It is not. That is one of the unfortunate things, and I tell clients when they come in, look, this is a little bit of a walk of faith.
Why does it take so long? I mean, some people have been working since they were 15 years old, paying in, they bust their butt until they're 60 or whatever, injured, unable to do their job. Rightfully, they feel like they're entitled to their own money.
Well, we're having to go through the federal government, and we've got a lot of claims coming through. They have a lot of claims going through. And so the way that the regulations are set up, they just have a lot of time to respond. The initial stage can take between 6 to 8 months just to get an initial decision back.
And what happens during that 6 to 8 month time frame?
So what Social Security is doing, the office, is they're working to get all of your medical documentation. That can take some time. If you have a host of medical providers and you're trying to figure out your exact disability and impairment.
Especially if you've recently moved, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And so you may be, they may be trying to get medical records from all over the country, depending upon where you've been.
Best case scenario, how long would a process like this take?
Best case scenario is you get approved right at the initial application. It still may take 6 months to get to that period, but that would be a quick, speedy recovery, and that's what we would hope for all of our clients.
What's one of the first, or should I say one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of folks make when they are beginning this process?
Well, you need to look at the rules for applying, and you should contact an attorney if you're actually even thinking about it to see if you qualify. Because one of the first hurdles that you have to overcome is you have to be out of work or expected to be out of work for at least 1 year. And so a lot of times people will call us and they'll say, look, I'm still working right now. I'm just having difficulty doing what I'm doing. Well, they may apply, but they're going to get denied after a while because they're still working. You have to have a certain impairment or disability that's going to keep you out of work for at least a year, or expected to be out of work for at least a year.
And frequently, one doctor saying so ain't going to get the job done, unfortunately.
No.
So, Ryan, we got to leave it there. Hopefully you'll come back over the coming weeks and help straighten this out a little bit more. Again, it's a crooked and rocky path. Go check out the best when it comes to applying for Social Security disability. Ryan Womack, thank you very much. You can get in touch with Ryan at warrenandgriffin.com, warrenandgriffin.com. We're back with more after this.